Okay, everybody, back here with another project. This is a Space Invaders board that I picked up from somebody that I was going to fix for them or try to fix for it. I haven't even powered it up yet. The only thing I've done is, if you guys can see this, they had reflowed. They had a lot of people add solder to these fingers here, and I've started to clean it up a little bit by removing the solder. They did it the same thing there as well, so I kind of want to just start with, you know, some cleaned up pads. And I was gonna just connect the power directly, but I figured what I'd do is I have, let me turn this light on a little bit. I have one of these Ian Kellog, from Ian Kellog's spot adapters, that where we're going to put the Jamma into my Jamma harness right there, and then we're going to solder on a fingerboard. This is the fingerboard. Solder on the edge connector to this side here. So I'm going to hook it up on the tripod and just kind of create a Space Invaders, a bare bones Space Invaders adapter here to begin with. Okay, so I'm drinking this Founders pills, which is pretty good. Just a little change up from IPAs, but it still tastes pretty good. It's got some citrus hops. I talked about it before, but anyway, so here's the Jamma side. It says component side. Doesn't matter at this point, but and that's the solder side. So we're going to kind of add this on here. What I did is basically, if you can see that, I bend, kind of just squeeze these together. Can you see that okay? Just to make it a little bit more narrow for the edge connectors, and then I slide it on. This actually might be the first one I'm ever doing. I don't know. I've done something similar, but maybe not exactly with this Ian Kellog one. And so I kind of want to get it in there. I might have them too tight on some of them, like that one. There we go. That way it'll hold it pretty good. And then we're just going to set it up right in the middle, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that side, 5 on that side. If you can see that, it's kind of difficult. I might need to zoom in a little bit more. Let me do that. Whoops. There we go. And now we just have to heat up our solder and go to town on this thing. Try to make it as even as possible, like that. And grab my solder. Right there. And turn this so you guys can see it a little bit better. There we go. We're just gonna hopefully get our soldering iron pretty hot there. It's as simple as that. I mean, there's one done right there. Two. So I will, maybe I can zoom in really tight and do one more. Okay, sorry about that. So I paused it for a little bit so I could get this camera set up. So I'm just going to do a couple more on camera here. So just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do finish the rest of these, and then flip it over and do the other side, and then I'll come back and we'll make the jumpers. Okay, so and I just I'm back. I've finished soldering all the fingers, or no, the eyelets to the fingerboard here on this side, and you know, Ian really makes it easy to make these because he has the holes already there. So we just have to cut some jumper cables, and just jumper the wires from the Jamma adapter, which is labeled, if you guys can see that. It's like it'll say 5 volts, etc. On there. So we just have to jumper like the 5 volts on this side to, you know, pin 1. Now I did screw up, obviously, because I should have probably slid this edge connector all the way up to align with pin 1. That way it would match. It'd be easier for me just to match it up on the sheet. Go, you know, 5 volt to pin 1 and A, 5 volt to pin 2 and B, etc. But me being not thinking through it before I actually started it, obviously I just went right to the middle because I thought that would fit the board best. But it definitely would have fit if I slid this edge connector over to the pin 1. But that's okay. So we're offset about 5 pins. So really pin 1 is pin 5, and I'll just mark that down with a marker. Just put, you know, this is pin 1, like that. So, all right. Let's see. I'll pause for a second, and then so I got this wire here. It's just from an extension cord or something, you know, I think it was to like a shop vac or something that had an AC wire in it. The gauge is pretty decent on it, so I was just going to use this wire. It's a way that you can you know, save and scavenge parts and stuff like that, just to use for this. It doesn't matter what color the wires are. So just cutting a little bit of a jumper wire from pin 1 here. So we're going to go, let's see, ground is going to be over here on this side. So we'll use the black wire for the ground at least, and we'll use the white wire for some of the power stuff. Some people might want to use like red and white and those kinds of things, but I don't think it's that necessary. So let's just cut a quick little jumper wire, pin 1 to 5 volts. There we go. And we just have to, you know, stick it in the 5 volt here, which is pin 3, and go right to pin 6. I probably made this too short. So let's go to D. Six to D on the Jamma side, like that, and then we just solder it in. Like that. So I don't know if you guys were seeing all of that, probably. So it's pretty straightforward. I mean, we're just going to I'll have to clean this up just a little bit because some of the wires didn't go all the way through. But we'll clean it up. But anyway, so and just we'll do the same thing. We don't have to do a ton of them, but we just need to do, for 5 volts, we'll do you know, pins 1 and 2, maybe A and B, and then we'll knock out the 12 volts as well. So I'll be right back. Okay, so this is what I ended up doing. I was just sparing you guys all the trials and tribulations there of getting this all hooked up. I did use just white, and because I didn't move, you know, this the edge connector over to pin 1, which is what I should have done, I just, you know, went ahead and labeled the pins that I needed. I did only mostly just the component side of the connections. And, you know, I have a couple ground wires. There's like 4 on Space Invaders. There you go, right there. But, you know, two is good enough. And then the last thing I did is for the video component out, because my Jamma is not wired to my test monitor's component out. It's monitored to the RGB inputs and stuff. I'm trying to think if there was a way that I could have done that. I don't think so. But anyway, what I did is I just put in a 1-pin header there so I can just hook up to my component. So I have 5 volts, 12 volts, minus 5 volts, ground, and my component video. And that is really all you need to power up a Space Invader. So, okay, so got it all hooked up here. You can see I have my Jamma harness attached to the Ian Kellog fingerboard. What type is this? This is Ian Kellog type 1 or something like that. So he has the pre-configured holes and fingerboards on both sides for Jamma and whatever your adapter is. And then I have the 36-pin edge connector there that we wired up and soldered. And all we needed was 5 volts, -5 and +12, as well as ground on that edge connector. Now Space Invaders over here has these controls. I think are like player 1 start. Let's see, pin 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, pin 8 is player 2 start. Pin 7 is player 1 start. Fire, etc. And then you have up, you know, move, and this is ground right here. And then over here, which is important, is you actually have this pin 1 and 2 are actually ground, and then you have your coin is pin 3, and pin 6 is power on reset. So basically, you have to ground that power on reset because we don't have this connected to the original Midway old style power supply that's in the cabinet, which would normally be providing this, you know, allowing the voltage to get up above 5 volts, and then once it does that, I guess it releases the reset pin, or it holds it low probably until 5 volts is stable, and then it releases it. So what we're doing is we got to ground that or something. So anyway, I'm probably describing it wrong, but either way you need to jumper it. So I have this blue wire jumper there. I'm grabbing ground right there with a mini click for my video ground. And so for me, I use these little VGA connectors to go up to my PVM right here. And so I have my PVM on input A, which is a component or composite. It's a composite input, and so it has ground through that connector, that VGA connector. And I'm just using this. Actually, make sure it's not touching too many wires. It's my blue wire. Usually I don't let wires like loose hang out like that, but just for me setting up something like a one-off, I go ahead and just use this one. And then I have my jumper there over here to my video where I had my little pin, if you guys can see that. Can you see that? Come from that side. So yeah, that little pin I held up, that's a composite video that's coming out of the Space Invaders. So it's providing basically the sync as well as the video image on one wire. I think that's how I understand it. So You need to grab it there because it's not separating the sync from the video signal. It's all combined, so you need a composite input, and that's where you can grab it there. There are some resistors, I think, over here where if you want to separate or grab the video signal separate from the sync, you can do it by pulling it directly from, I think, those resistors there, if I'm not mistaken. But this is easier for me because I have a monitor that has a composite input. So, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to power this bad boy on. And we got the test screen. And the issue that was reported on this board was that it would come up with a bit error. And you see that I'm not getting the same error based off of that. So, and then it goes into the menu. So to coin up, I'd have to, or let's see, is it on free play? No? Yeah, I guess it is on free play. So actually, I just need a jumper player 1, and let me do that with a jumper cable here. Doing this with one hand, so I know pin 1 over here is ground. Right there. You can see that. I turn the board a little bit. And then I just need a touch player 1 start probably, which is right there. No? Oh, fire probably. There we go. So we just got it started there. Sorry for that shadow there. And now we're in the Space Invaders. So looks like it's working okay to me. So it's definitely not an issue with the guy's board. I thought I was going to have to do some troubleshooting, so I wanted to hook it up on the bench. So what I'll do is I'll just plug this directly into my Space Invaders and see how it goes. So cool. Yeah, we could also hook up sound. I could do that real quick. That's pins 8 and 9 over here. So if we wanted to listen to it, I could do that real quick. Let me be right back. Yeah, I started a game, and I have the speaker wired, but I'm not sure if I need audio going to this, if it needs an amplifier or something. Maybe, is that on? I don't know. I can't remember when I hooked up my other Space Invaders if it was actually playing audio at this point or not. I might have to go back and look at my notes. I can't remember, or I'll plug it in. So it's possible we're not getting power to the audio section of the board, and that's why we're not getting any sound right now, or something else is going on. So what I should do is actually create an adapter that wires from here to this board. So like a Molex connector that goes on here that has 12 volt power, most likely. I think it calls for 18 volts. But gives it voltage and as well as the audio part. What happened to my note there? Probably coin up, wire those up so to the adapter. That way it'll be a better adapter, and then another Molex connector here to player 1. Start moving and stuff like that. So I might do that just to make it complete. Jamma adapter. Alright, so have the board hooked up in my Asteroids Deluxe cabinet, and we're gonna power it on and see what we got. So it's pretty quick. I don't actually have the support brackets on real quick because I'm not gonna leave it like this. But yeah, let's power it up and see how it goes. My basement's a total mess. Got the what is that? Seawolf. There we go. And this Tron, man, if I turn this thing on, something happened to the sound, and I think it's the second time it's happened where it sounded like just complete obnoxious noise coming out, and I could have swore I replaced the midway power supply. So anyway, could be doing this one, little video on that one next, but alright, so let's do this. So this makes it a little bit easier because I have a little remote power thing. I'll get the light on. All I have to do is press player. Number 1 on. turbo coming on. And next to it's super hang on. And then you hear pole position. But anyway, so yeah, it looks like Space Invaders comes right up with the Braze multi-kit. And we just have to hit the fire button to select. See if we get sound. Sounds like we do. So yeah, you must have to wire up that that other connector for, I think it gets 18 volts from maybe the transformer or something. I'm not exactly sure what voltage it gets. Might be unregulated. I haven't studied the Space Invaders the Space Invaders schematic to see, you know, how I need to power the audio section. But if I want to finish that adapter, I definitely need to do something. So all the sounds sound like it's working good. You got the missile shot, the explosion, the invader kind of saucer, I mean, noise and stuff. So anyway, that's I guess we fixed it. I guess I don't know what was wrong before, but it had the it was getting a bit error on the Braze kit. I think that stands for bit shifter or something. The bit shifter, which might be something to do with the audio board, I think, or some specific chips on the audio board. Yeah, it's actually some specific chips that I read that I can't remember. Let's see if we can get by here. Yeah, I can't remember where those chips were. I think they said that sometimes it was a custom. So for some reason, maybe it's makes me think that maybe it's this chip here. Like they said, either it's a grouping of 4 chips that are doing the bit shifting, and I don't know. It could be on the audio board, but whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm not getting the error, so I don't know what to necessarily troubleshoot. So I think what happened is that there was a lot probably of they soldered on those edge connectors, even on that board right there, and probably a lot of, oh, actually it looks like somebody had sanded so on that edge connector. So who knows? I mean, obviously some work had been done to it, and maybe it wasn't making, this daughter card wasn't making good contact with the main board, and when I cleaned off all the solder, you know, it maybe helped a little bit. So I mean, it's definitely playing fine, so for me. So anyway, alright, I think that's it. And I'm still drinking that, I don't have the can in front of me, but I didn't even get through a whole can actually, so I need to pause and then go open up another one. But it's Pilsner, and it's tasting pretty good. Cheers.